Okay, guys, so we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going hard, and um, and I still have so much crazy stuff to share, and yeah. So the what I'm trying to say is I am connected to all this stuff going on. This with me and my dad. Again, my dad, he died from cancer when I was 7, and I've been finding out that these events that have been happening in the world have been revolving around us. Like I'm not kidding, and I've been proving it. So if you don't like what I'm saying right now, then then you didn't see my videos, or um like you are in denial about the information I shared, because it's undeniable information. You can't deny it. It's perfect. That's why I am confident in saying what I'm saying, because I know, and like people. I know it's hard to humble yourself, to be like of all the people, I would be the last person. I would be the last person that I think that you guys should expect things to be revolving around, because I'm like I've said, I'm not even close to the best decoder or the best speaker or teacher. I'm literally like a low life loser, stupid guy. But I just have been. I happen to have stumbled upon what this is all about, and it happens to be revolving around the person that is finding it out. So you just you need to watch, or if you don't really want the truth, then by all means. But like, hopefully you can accept that. Okay, and then you can keep chasing your tail, and um like falling into just focusing on who's gonna be the next president, or when's the economy gonna crash, and when are we gonna lose our rights, when are we gonna, all that stuff. Like, you can keep focusing on all that stuff if you want, but it's gonna hold you back. And I'm not saying like this is just all about me. I'm just saying I am being used to portray the bigger message of why all this is actually happening. So it's not about me, but I'm being used as the vessel to show that, by God, that's what is happening. And I'm going to continue to corroborate that with what I'm going to share today. Okay, because like I've said, my dad, he died of cancer when I was 7, and these events have been revolving around us, like the election, the World Series, LeBron and his son becoming the first father-son duo to play in the NBA together, and just a bunch of other things. But like those, and Back to the Future. So we're just gonna continue with that, like the Back to the Future and election thing that other people have done a way better job of decoding and figuring out that this election has to do with Back to the Future. And again, something I've learned is that we're in a self-sustaining. This is a self-sustaining thing, because what I am revealing to you guys is that could only have been possible with everyone else's decodes, for people to be decoding the way that they are with Back to the Future and the election. That is how I was able to figure out this stuff, because I probably might not have been to otherwise. So yeah, let's just go move on, and we're gonna be talking about Trump and his dad. Remember, I showed the father-son theme with Back to the Future. Not even just a literal father-son connection, but the father and son narrative in that movie is just a symbol of the greater father-son message, that's what I'm sharing, that's what I'm showing, and that's what's happening in real life with me and my dad with all this stuff. So we're gonna be looking at Trump and his dad. and you should know the Trump Back to the Future connections by now, like Biff Tannen. That's totally Trump, and it was even admitted by the director. And yeah, so let's look at his dad for a second. So Fred Christ Trump. I know a lot of people know about like that Christ thing, and that's where a lot of people will stop. You know, they'll look at things like that, and then they'll be like, "Oh, they're satanic. They're just mocking Christ," and that stuff could be used as a way to either, it could either hinder you like that, or it could be used as a clue to help you look further and find the things that like I'm finding. You know, and that's how I'm seeing these things right now. Like once I see these symbols, I get that little perception of like that evil satanic perception out of my head, and I use that as a clue, just knowing that it must like a breadcrumb, and I end up being right almost like every time. So his dad was born on October 11th, 1905, and he died on June 25th, 1999. So keep that in mind. And now I'm gonna remind you guys of my dad, his age when he died, his birth to his death. He was exactly 2,118 weeks old, and I showed you this 2 videos back, but we'll review it. But yeah, this is how old he was when he died exactly. So this is going to apply to them, because when you go from Fred Trump's birth to Donald Trump's birth, here's his birth, Donald Trump, it is the span of time that from my dad's birth to his death, from Trump's dad's birth to Trump's birth, is the same amount of time exactly from my dad's birth to my dad's death. So after everything I shared yesterday and everything I've been sharing, I was not even thinking about Trump's dad. And then I thought about it today, and I was like, oh my god, like it just like that could have not have been true. Trump's dad could have been born like a month sooner. It could have been like, and everything I shared yesterday still would be freaking mind-blowing, and this made it 1,000,000 times more mind-blowing. And if you don't get it, then I don't know, I can't help you. I can't, and you just don't want to get it, or I don't know. Like, I don't know, okay? And now I'm going to review what I shared about this number, and let's just do it. Let's go straight into it. So remember, it had to do with when LeBron and his son, when they stepped onto the court together for the first official game as a father-son duo in the NBA. And it was, the score at the time was 35-51, and when you convert that into the date, 3/5/51, to my birth, it was exactly 2,118 weeks, the exact amount of time from my dad's birth to my dad's death, the same amount of time as Trump's dad's birth to Trump's birth. And this is this historic father-son moment in sports, the first father-son duo in NBA history. This is a sports moment you cannot erase. And this was tied to Back to the Future because of this that I shared, because I learned from Cody that time travel equals 2053, and then I added on to that you look at the properties of 2053, and it's 310, the 310th prime, 19th star, and when you go from 31019 to the game when this happened, it was 2053 days. So total confirmation that like when I shared to Cody in September, the beginning of September, that there was a huge father-son aspect to Back to the Future, that I was right about that back in September, and this happened like over a month and a half after that. And so yeah, just again, this 218 weeks There are 2,118 weeks. And then, yeah, so there's that again. And then, so then the Los Angeles Dodgers 2024 MLB champions equals 2118. And that was amazing because I figured out this. The I and my father are one. Let me just show you. Okay, so I noticed that they won. The finals ended on 10:30, so I thought immediately of John 10:30. I and my father are one, and then I found out that when the ordinal value of that verse, this verse is 182, and Jesus Christ is 1275. When you make this into the date 1275 to the Dodgers win, is 18200 days. So I proved that the Dodgers win was about that verse. And it seems like it's very specifically about that verse because of me and my dad. And then just to add on to that same span is 2,600 weeks exactly, and God equals 26. So that was double confirmation. I was like, for sure, I know that I solved that. I and my father are one. So, what are the sheer odds that after I've unveiled that, I find out that Trump, everything that's going on is, he's like super highlighted right now, like with everything. And all those things are tying into each other with the Back to the Future stuff, and more so the father-son stuff, because that's what Back to the Future is based around, the father-son theme. 2118 weeks, just like my dad was 2118 weeks when he died. It's undeniable. It's like I said, Trump's dad could have been born anytime. Yesterday's, the video I shared yesterday was all like that. I could have just never shared anything ever again for the rest of my life, and I would have had enough information to prove that this stuff is connected to me, around me, and my dad. I'm almost thinking like this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking is that movie. It was predictively programmed a few things, right? Maybe there was a bigger thing that it was predictively programming. Maybe like they knew that they were waiting for the day that this person was going to be born, and then somehow, I don't know how, God was the one directing my path to be able to find it all. Because imagine if I just didn't, because it had to be me. It had, all this stuff, my birth is the one that has the miraculous timing for all this to be happening in this way. So imagine if they were like, oh man, they know that the person born October 7, 91. I guess obviously there was other people born on that day, so maybe they were all like, all right, we have this many chances to get it right, and they're like, oh, okay, so they were able to find at least one person. Maybe I don't know, maybe there is somebody else, but I highly doubt it. But there's only a handful of people that even do what we do, at least that I know, because I don't know, I only know the people here on YouTube, and I barely have any followers, and I barely have even people reacting or interacting with my content anymore. But I don't know, like, I feel like they knew that this was all gonna happen. I feel like they knew that this was gonna happen, and that was like the intention of that movie. And like I said, like, I have just passed the point in my life where I became the age that my dad was when I was born. So that was on June 24th. And again, that was the day that JJ Redick became the coach of the first father-son duo of the NBA, and he did that on his 40th birthday, and my dad died at age 40. So it's all lining up perfectly. Now, just to add more fuel to the fire after all that, talking about his dad's death. Oh, no, we didn't talk about that yet. We're going to talk about that now. So, Trump's dad died 58 days before my father. And father equals 58. And not just that, but on that day, and thank you, Casey Jones, for revealing this to me kind of a few months ago. I forgot when it was exactly, but the day that Trump's dad died, this movie came out. Big Daddy released the day that Trump's dad died, and 58 days before my dad died. So Big Daddy released 58 days before my father died, and father equals 58. Let's just keep going. And it's funny too, because he's 32 and father equals 32. So they know what's up. And I have something to share too about like Dylan and Colin Sprouse. Like I just have so much to share. I just don't know how I'm gonna get to it all, but it's unbelievable. But let's just continue with this. So the day that my dad died, I turned 411 weeks exactly. My birth, my dad's death, 411 weeks. And when Donald Trump's dad died, Donald Trump was exactly 2,767 weeks. So I decided to look at both of those numbers together. Okay, so 411 plus 2767 equals 3178. And I'm turned into a date. Sorry. You know, hate it or love it. But I turned it into a date, 3178. Again, I was 411 weeks old when my dad died. And Trump was 2,767 weeks when his dad died. And 411 plus 2767 is 3178. So keep that in mind. And this date, 3178. Now we're going to look at, real quick, we're going to look at this date here, so my dad was born on January 19th, 59. So 11959. And this was really interesting too. This date passed the day that I turned 11959 days. Just like to match his birthday. Alright, you don't think that's significant? I'm gonna freaking prove it to you that it is. And what was interesting is that this was actually the span, and so I actually turned that age the next day on the 248th birthday of the United States. 248, like what we've been talking about, and like a lot of people have been talking about with Trump and Back to the Future, and remember how I showed in my community, I'm gonna show it in a little bit, but remember how I showed the verse in Revelation, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and end, the first and the last. Back to the Future, and that in the keypad cipher equals 248. And I showed that. So, but we're gonna be looking at this date. I'll show you why. So when you go from the day that I turned, the amount of days that matches my dad's date of birth. So again, I turned the amount of days that matches my dad's date of birth. On this day, and 3178, just like 411 plus 2767 equals 3178. Okay, it's 19600 days. And what have I been talking about? 196 is the 14th square, which is 14 times 14. John 10:30, I and my Father are one. Again. I showed you guys, I did that 3 times in a row. First with the Dodgers, then with the WWE Crown Jewel event that Cody did a decode on. And then what I shared yesterday with the election, and now I did it again. With relevance to all of everything, with everything. This is such an important freaking number, because this is the exact amount of weeks that Trump was when his dad died, the amount of weeks that I was when my dad died. You put it together, turn it into a date, and then when you go from the day that I turned the day that matches the date of my dad's date of birth to this date is 19600 days. 196, 14 times 14. John 10:30, I and my Father are one. 14:14. I am literally trying to show you guys that I have stepped into a portal and I've tapped into something. I'm trying to show you guys the possibilities. Like I'm trying to show you that I have stepped up to a new, I've gone past a new level of not decoding. Okay, like I said, I'm not the best. I'm not striving to be the best decoder. I do not care. I am trying to step up into this game we're in, and I've totally, this is like way up there. And I want to bring other people along. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm risking my whole reputation and what people think about me, because I need to speak about this passionately so people take it seriously. And I don't know if it's been working thus far, but just whoever hears it, I hope you realize this is so fucking important. Hope you realize that. While people are like literally still tripping about, oh, is Joe Biden gonna die? Is Kamala gonna take over? Who's gonna be number? Like, that's what people are focused on. And people haven't figured out that is literally like this bottom of the barrel of importance compared to what else like we are supposed to be figuring out, you know? And like I'm sure there are more things to figure out that are on par with this, but it's definitely not, oh, when's Trump gonna get shot? When are the riots gonna happen? When are they gonna, order out of chaos? Like, that's not it, guys. It's not. I mean, what's gonna happen when that stuff happens? You're just gonna be like, I told you. Like, yep. And then what? And then what? Like, that's not, I'm not striving to get to a point where I can prove that I'm right, and then tell people like, look, I told you I'm right. I told you I'm right. I'm like, no, I know I'm right about this, and this has opened my eyes up and made me realize that I have a huge journey ahead of me still. That this like, I ain't seen nothing yet. Neither have you guys. Where are we at right now? Okay, so going back to this, the 2767, the amount of weeks that he was when his dad died. All right, now I'm going to show you something that just happened in real time, which I have my thoughts about this. And they're not bad, but I'm not going to fully express it. But I'm just going to show you guys, and this is just I guess I can express it. Like, it's like, I'll show you and then I'll tell you. Okay, so I converted that into the date. You know, I do that, proven it. It's already proven that this is something that you should be doing by now. And so I went from that date to my birth. So this is like connecting me and Trump and his dad, because that's how many weeks old he was when his dad died. And I was 1287 weeks exactly. So it just seemed like a really significant number, and I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head at the time. And while I was doing that, I was talking to Casey Jones on Discord, and I was telling him about what I already shared, the 2118 weeks. So I was telling him about that. I was like, Trump's dad's birth to Trump's birth, exactly 2118 weeks, the same age that my dad was when he died. And he responded. It was very, very peculiar response. He just said groovy, and that's the first time I've heard that word in a long time. And yeah, I just didn't know, like, it was just very peculiar. So I was like, let's see, well, let's check that out. Let's check out that word. Turns out to be the friggin' exact amount of weeks that I was, or no, the exact amount of time from 2767 to my birth. And so that was like either just another act of God, just like, he had no control over what he was going to say. God just told him to say groovy, and he was like, I'm going to say groovy. Because this was within minutes. Or I am being trained and guided and, like, coached, and these guys are just 10 steps ahead of me, and it's not a bad thing. Like, I'm not afraid. Like, that's where I was thinking about initiated. Like, I'm being initiated, and these guys are just steps ahead of me. Just, they know what to say, when to say it, how it's going to affect me, and how I'm going to react from that, which I think that could be a reason why I'm also being like my work is being ignored, when I know it's like, it is the most unbelievable stuff right now. Like, I know. And what I mean by that, when I say that, I've said that a few times, but what I mean by that, I'm saying the gravity of what my work is revealing. Because the other decodes are phenomenal, but what I'm saying is the gravity of what I'm showing. Even the what I showed with the John 10:30, I and my Father are one. With the Dodgers winning, like just imagine if I just didn't share that, and then that would be unknown to this day, because nobody has been on the father son stuff like I have in John 10:30, I and my Father are one. I know that other decoders have been, and they've talked about it, before I stepped into the portal of crossing the timeline of when I became the same age that my dad was when I was born. And I know that people had talked about it before, but the intensity of what I've found and the consistency of what I've found, because that's all I've been sharing, only that. Haven't been just doing normal, regular, random decodes. I've only been doing that. But and I'm sure that there is a bunch of there has to be a bunch of crazy things that no one has found out yet. There has to be. It's not like there's no way that we all have found everything there is to have found. So, but I lost my train of thought. But anyways, yeah, I feel like there's that possibility that I am being initiated. And I'm not in it's not a bad thing, because obviously I'm not the person that is calling these celebrities and politicians evil and satanic and they hate you and they're lying to you. I'm not even doing that. So if by me saying that I'm possibly being initiated, I'm revealing that is actually a good thing, and I'm thankful for it, and I know that these people trust me. But if that's not the case, then I don't know if I don't think I'm ever gonna have that be told to me and admitted, because it can't be. Because if what I think is actually happening, then I have to figure it out on my own, or else it's all over. It's all over if the secret's out. And that's exactly what the vow of silence is about. That's what the vow of silence is about. It's not just we're in the club, shh. It's that's why you see them all, you see those poses, because they that's what it's for. First it's to have this person be able to catch on to it, and then the messages flip, because then it's once he starts getting really further in and starts getting to where I'm at right now, then it's you better not say anything, or this is all ruined. It's all ruined. So I have to figure this out on my own. Okay. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And then maybe God was just maybe God really just told him to say groovy. It could be that too. And I would not doubt that as being a possibility either, because when I see where I'm at right now and the perfect things that have happened in my life that have lined up with everything going on, it's made me realize that there's been a lot of things that I've not been in control of, and that something God must be controlling me to make every mistake I've made, do everything that I've done, every single thing, for everything to line up perfectly, exactly as it has. And my dad, and Trump and his dad, and the Dodgers, and LeBron James and his son, and Steven Spielberg, and everyone part of Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox. And then also I wanted to give a shout out to Uncanny Deduction. He made a great find when I shared the thing with LeBron and his son with the time travel thing, because that was on 10/22, and then he pointed out that Christopher Lloyd, the Emmett Brown from Back to the Future, his birthday is 10/22. So I was like, that just corroborated what I found, and I was like, but that was an amazing. That wasn't just about me. I want to give Uncanny Deduction credit for that. So good job. He's really on another level too. Like, for sure. So that same span, sorry, I went off on a really long tangent there, but that same span, the 27, which one is it? Oh, the 1287 weeks. That same span is also 24 years and 8 months. Would you look at that? Just like how I shared this in my community, I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Beginning and Back to the Future. And that equals 248. Keypad. Thanks to Zenith for teaching us about the keypad cipher. But this stuff is perfect. It's so perfect. What I'm finding, what I've put together. I mean, I'm not putting it together. Sorry, let me correct myself. I'm not putting this together. It's already been together. God put this together. But what I've found, absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna end it with this, what Casey shared with me. So he told me that I was born exactly 60 Mercury years before Barron Trump, Donald Trump's son, and he just won the 60th election. So father, son, and now it's going to the next generation, Trump being the father and his son. So now Trump is the father and the son in this whole equation that I just shared. And that's perfect. And then I did the math here just so you guys can see it, and he is right. So from my birth to Barron Trump's birth, is this many days, and that, so you divide that by 87.969, and that is 60. It's perfect. So what was I gonna say? I think that's it. Yeah, thank you for sharing that with me, Casey. Yeah, last thing I will say is that, like I said, like yesterday, God giveth, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. I just feel blessed that like to be in this, position, but I would not be here. I wouldn't, without like everyone who's taught me what they've taught me, like amazing decoders out there, and then all of their own decodes too that I've seen and then realized that they are completely on point with, like, for instance, the Back to the Future, and then this election, even though I mentioned it to Cody like in September because I was connecting it to Johnny Goudreau, but I actually wasn't going to be connecting that to what's going on now, because I was trying not to decode, like before, like when during the World Series and all that, I was literally trying to turn my brain off, and I was trying to be a normal person and just like watch like a normal person and enjoy the show. And then then I started like hearing little things, and then it just brought me back, and then in a huge way. And so and I started finding crazier things I've ever found ever. So that's what keeps happening. I'm going through these like weird cycles where like I'm like I don't want to like I might be reaching that point again, because I'm starting to get like fucking like sick of just like feeling unheard. And by sharing, like I know that the past 3 videos probably are like some of the craziest things that are out there on YouTube right now, like kid you not. So I might share a few more and then probably just like go away again for a while, just so I can like I don't know, just focus on other things I want to focus on, and then maybe when I come back I will have crazier things to share. But yeah, I just feel like it's kind of like right now this whole thing is kind of distorting my character, and I don't want that to happen, because I cannot help but be frustrated about like just being like ignored like this with what I'm sharing. I don't care if it was like if I was just doing decodes and just normal decodes, regular decodes, and then people weren't watching it, like I'd be like, okay, like whatever, that's my fault. But no, like I know for a fact that this stuff should not be ignored. Like I know for a fact that this stuff is like what everyone needs to be like focusing on right now, Sorry, my friend's calling me. I'm gonna go eat dinner. Thank you guys for watching, and take care. Bye.